Oh God, this is so good for him. I hate it. I hate that it's so good for him because he's such a piece of so unserious and does not care.
We're going to
Zuckerberg
keep talking
apologized to the families during the Senate hearing.
about this, but it is a very busy day on Capitol Hill. Going to go back to the hearing where Josh Hawley, Republican of Missouri, is questioning Mark Zuckerberg.
In the last 7 days. Now, I know you're familiar with these stats because he sent you an email where he lined it all out. I mean, we've got a copy of it right here. My question is, who did you fire for this? Who got fired because of that?
Senator, we study all of this because it's important and we want to improve our services.
Well, you just told
And
me
I
a
think
second ago
the-
you studied it, but that there was no linkage. Who did you
Senator,
fire?
Yeah, I said you mischaracterized.
37% of teenage girls between 13 and 15 were exposed to unwanted nudity in a week on Instagram. You knew about it. Who did you fire?
Senator, this is why we're building all
Who
these
did you
different
fire?
tools. Senator, I don't think that's.
Who did you fire?
I'm not going to answer that. I
Because
mean,
you
this
didn't
is-
fire anybody, right? You didn't take any
Senator,
significant
I don't think
action.
it's appropriate.
It's so funny that he's saying that because, like, they definitely fired motherfuckers, I'm sure. Come on, bro. They did like a massive layoff for Meta even. Like, it's so easy for him to say, like, yeah, we fired a shit ton of people. Who cares? Like, yeah, they fired the janitor probably. And then you can just like chalk that up as a W. But it is a ridiculous line of questioning because, like, yeah, there's massive layoffs happening everywhere in the tech sector. I'm not defending Mark Zuckerberg here, but I mean, I'm certainly not defending Josh Hawley either.
To talk about like
It's not
individual HR
appropriate.
decisions.
Do you know who's sitting behind you? You've got families from across the nation whose children are either severely harmed or gone, and you don't think it's appropriate to talk about steps that you took? The fact that you didn't fire a single person? Let me ask you this. Have you compensated any of the victims?
Sorry?
Have you compensated any of the victims? These girls, have you compensated them?
I don't believe so.
Why not? Don't you think they deserve some compensation for what your platform has done? Help with counseling services, help with dealing with the issues that your service has caused?
Our job is to make sure that we build tools to help keep people safe.
Are you
across
going
our
to
platform.
compensate them?
Senator, our job.
God, I hate how fucking bad faith this line of questioning is, but he's kind of cooking them. God, I hate it. I hate it. It's a mid-off. Like, I despise Mark Zuckerberg for a million different reasons. I think Meta is awful. I think the algorithms are genuinely damaging. And then Josh Hawley is a demon as well. But now he's doing the Piers Morgan technique, having a guy that is like, that everybody hates, and cooking him so you look good in comparison. So people forget that you're Piers Morgan, right? It's like, that's what he's doing.
Job and what we take seriously is making sure that we build industry-leading tools to find harmful
To
content,
make money.
take it off the services,
To make money.
and to build tools that empower parents.
So you
that
didn't
help
take
By the way, yeah, you are completely correct. The people that are saying, like, where's this energy for the gun manufacturers? Great question. Imagine a world in which they do this to like every company, which, by the way, it's valid to do this to social media too.
take any action. You didn't
That's
take
not
any
true,
action.
Senator.
You didn't fire anybody. You haven't
not true.
compensated a
That's
single
not-
victim.
that's
Let
not
me
what I
ask you
said.
this. Let me ask you this. There's families of victims here today. Have you apologized to the victims? Would you like to do so now?
Well-
they're here. You're on national television. Would you like now to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product? Show them the pictures. Would you like to apologize?
Oh God, Josh Hawley bullied a billionaire. Oh God, this is so good for him. I hate it. I hate that it's so good for him because he's such a piece of shit, so unserious, and does not care even remotely about the safety and security of these fucking families. Fuck.
Apologize for what you've done to these good people.
I'm sorry for everything that you've all been through. It's terrible. No one should have to go through the things that your families have suffered. And this is why we invested so much and are going to continue doing industry-leading efforts to make sure that no one has to go through the types of things that your families have had to suffer.
You know, why, Mr. Zuckerberg, Why should your company not?
This feels like big government to me. I'm chilling with our government meddling in the business of these major corporations, but fuck, where's the consistency of the cognitive dissonance? Wait, what do you mean? The government always meddles in the business. It's just like it only meddles in business affairs in the direction of capital owners, and this won't be any different than that, okay? I don't think that this will be like the government is constantly meddling in big business. Big government is always hand in hand. It's just that when they meddle in big business, they do it at the behest of the owners of the corporations and not necessarily the workers, right? They very rarely also do it for the consumers. They almost always balance. If there is a genuine issue, then that they balance that. Like consumers come second, capital owners number one, consumers second, last place is labor, obviously. So that's it. Why doesn't social media companies take the gun lobby lay and say it's the people doing it, not our products? They probably will, or they probably would approach it in the same way, but I don't know. I mean, they kind of are. That's the whole reason for why we have safe harbor. But it's not as powerful as a take. It's not as powerful as a like. It's not no pun intended, but it's not the meta, right? Why isn't Twitter in this too? Twitter is in this. Linda Yaccarino
Be sued for this. Why is it that you can claim you hide behind a liability shield? You can't be held accountable. Shouldn't you be held accountable personally? Will you take personal responsibility?
Senator, I think I've already answered this. I mean, these
Well,
are
try
serious
this again.
issues.
Will you take personal responsibility?
Senator, I view my job and the job of our company as building the best tools that we can to keep our community safe.
Well, you're failing at
and
that.
Well, Senator, we're doing an industry-leading effort. We build AI tools
nonsense. Your product is killing people. Will you personally commit to compensating the victims? You're a billionaire. Will you commit to compensating the victims? Will you set up a compensation fund
Senator,
with your
I
money?
think these are
With your money.
complicated- Senator, these are complicated
Yes, no, that's not a complicated question, though. That's
Senator,
a yes or no.
this is-
Will you set up a victims compensation fund?
God, that's such a good. God, I wish he. God, I hate this. I hate this so much. I hate it because that's such a good bar. Okay, that is a great line of questioning. He is holding his foot to the fire. He's holding him accountable. He's doing it in a very aesthetically pleasing manner, if that makes sense. And you hate to see it, I guess. You hate to freaking see it. I hate to freaking see it because it's being done by the worst piece of shit out there. And it's also never the same kind of energy that they have for example, the likes of, they don't have this kind of smoke for the gun lobby, the gun manufacturers. They don't have this kind of smoke for DuPont Chemical. You know what I mean? They don't have this kind of smoke for pharmaceutical corporations. So not to say that this is a bad line of questioning. I think this is good. It's okay though, because Cotton went full dumbass during his line of questioning. Yeah. It's like watching Goebbels hit a home run. Yes. The issue is this line of questioning is just, why did you beat your wife over and over again? Yeah, I know, but that's good. That reads well to the average human. What do you mean, Goebbels? I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, this is like what they should be doing to every company, even if they do not demand any kind of real restitution, or they can get like any kind of real restitution from any of these other companies. This kind of attack is still good. Populism 101, certainly, but this is what I demand from my Democratic congresspersons too.
With your money, the money you made on these families sitting behind you, yes or no?
Senator, I don't think that's my job is to
Sounds
make sure
like a
we
no.
build good tools. My
Sounds
job
like a
is
no.
to make sure that
Your job is to be responsible for what your company has done. You've made billions of dollars on the people sitting behind them. Are you here? You've done nothing to help them. You've done nothing to compensate them. You've done nothing to put it right. You could do so here today, and you should. You should, Mr. Zuckerberg. Before my time expires, Mr. Chu, let me just ask you, your platform, why should your platform not be banned in the United States of America? You are owned by a Chinese communist company, or a company based in China. The editor-in-chief of your parent company is a Communist Party secretary. Your company has been surveilling Americans for years. According to leaked audio from more than 80 internal TikTok meetings, China-based employees of your company have repeatedly accessed non-public data of United States citizens. Your company has tracked journalists improperly gaining access to their IP addresses, user data, in an attempt to identify whether they're writing negative stories about you. Why should your platform is basically an espionage arm for the Chinese Communist Party? Why should you not be banned in the United States of America?
Senator, I disagree with your characterization. Many of what you have said, we have explained in a lot of detail. TikTok is used by 170 million Americans.
I know, and every single one of those Americans are in danger from the fact that you track their keystrokes, you track their app usage, you track their location data.
Yeah, this part of the conversation is literally like, dog, you are currently yelling at a dude from Singapore, okay, for engaging in the exact same practices that every other corporation engages in. Okay, the only difference is it's China that owns the company. That's it. Like, this is just a straight up bad because China moment. TikTok is bad. Okay, TikTok is bad. It breaks people's brains for sure. The hilarious part of this is that it's like the surveillance strategies that they're talking about and all this stuff is like commonplace, is common practice. I think that in this circumstance, like, regulation is a must, but I don't know what the best way to do it is. I don't know what the best strategy going forward should be. I don't know. It is funny though that it is funny thinking about like how much smoke they have for this when they could, like, the Chinese government could just like buy this information. Okay.
And we know that all of that information can be accessed by Chinese employees who are subject to the dictates of the Chinese Communist Party. Why should you not be banned in this country?
Senator, that is not accurate. A lot of what you describe we collect, we don't.
It is 100% accurate. Do you deny that repeatedly Americans' data has been accessed by ByteDance employees in China?
We built a project that cost us billions of dollars to stop that, and we have made a lot of progress.
And it hasn't been stopped, according to the Wall Street Journal report from just yesterday.
So you're okay with China trying to suppress our journalists? Wait, what? I never said that. What are you talking about? No, dude, I know everybody always goes like, dude, you love China. You love China. Like, I don't think TikTok is good. I'm quite literally mentioning that China and its impact, or TikTok's impact on the Western world, is damaging. Okay? It is. And not only that, but I'm saying internally in China, they have a TikTok equivalent and it has a shit ton of safeguards in it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? There are better criticisms of and better regulations surrounding what to do. Simply wrong? What do you mean? Surrounding what we must do with TikTok and all other social media, including the surveillance stuff too, for sure. It's just laughable to think about like TikTok doing extra surveillance more than anyone else. And it's like going to Chinese people and it's actually suppressing journalists or whatever. Like China is like controlling American journalists or suppressing their information is pretty funny, because that is no longer even the tip of the iceberg. You're now talking about some fucking insane shit. Okay.
Even now, ByteDance workers, without going through official channels, have access to the private information of American citizens. I'm quoting from the article: private information of American citizens, including their birth date, their IP address, and more. That's now.
Senator, as we know, the media doesn't always get it right. What we have.
But the Chinese Communist Party does.
Oh, that was a good. Okay, show. Bro. Show did the damn thing. He went fake news. That's actually a good line, because it's like, it's one that works really well for the Republican audience. You know what I mean? To which his response again is like, well, what about the Chatcom?
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that we have spent billions of dollars to build this project. It's rigorous, it's robust, it's unprecedented, and I'm proud of the work that the 2,000 employees are doing to protect the data.
It's not protected. That's the problem, Mr. Chu. It's not protected at all. It's subject to Communist Chinese Party inspection and review. Your app, unlike anybody else sitting here, and
my eyes are rolling out of my head.
everyone knows I've got
My
problems
eyeballs
with
are
everybody
rolled
here.
behind.
But your app, unlike any of those, is subject to the control and inspection of a
I think the major thing with TikTok is that it's owned by China, and and because it's owned by China, they just hate that. They don't have like the same level of control and the same level of backdoor access to the same degree that they do to like every other American social media platform that our intelligence agencies are monitoring and utilizing at any given moment. Being owned by ByteDance also gives TikTok like additional bandwidth as far as like not being as malleable or as susceptible to like public pressure, let's say in the same way that like Meta could be. There's a reason why TikTok is, first of all, the moderation on TikTok is, I think, a bunch of monkeys and levers. Okay. I'm almost certain like there is not a human that controls any part of that process. We've talked about this quite a bit. It's really awful. I get banned every week. It's like insane. I get unbanned. I ask for like a human to look at it. I get unbanned and then I get banned again for the same fucking video. It's completely random. It makes no goddamn sense. It's really, really, really stupid. Interview a TikTok employee. There is none. This is the only TikTok employee, brother. Okay. I'm not even kidding. This is the guy. He's the one guy that is a human being that works at TikTok. Everyone else is like AI and like I said, monkeys with levers, okay? Pulleys, levers, a crank system, buttons that they're pressing. So, overall, I think he's the one unbanning me. Yeah, he unbans me because he's like, you're China's bravest warrior. But anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is, are you comfortable with Facebook and Google doing the same thing? No, that's what I'm trying to point to. My argument is, no, this regulation is not just for TikTok. It should be across the board, except there is no regulation. And the TikTok part of the conversation is simply to try and bully TikTok so they can sell it to an American company and continue the same process. That's it. That's my point. I'm not saying it's good that TikTok is surveilling people, okay? I have had a very consistent point on this from the jump, okay? Here's how this works. These guys love hammering TikTok because they say, ooh, scary, China is doing the surveilling, okay? Ooh, scary. If they were to come out with regulation that would impact all of the companies in the same exact way, that would be wonderful. But that's not the goal here. The goal isn't even to regulate TikTok. The goal is to sell off TikTok to an American company so that, you know, they can have an additional level of control and maybe even pressure, okay? I mean, look, this is my theory. This is what I think. This is what I think they want. They don't like that there is like a company out there that's not as malleable and not as susceptible to like even pressures from the State Department, right? I don't know. I feel like there is an allowance that TikTok has as far as like even what kind of information is like readily accessible on there, that you certainly have way more rigorous checks and controls over when you compare it to, and I'm talking, of course, about Palestine, when you compare it to like Meta, right? Meta is like very openly suppressing pro-Palestinian content. Any mentions of Palestine whatsoever, you get clapped. And they're very unapologetic about it. Ironic considering that, you know, they basically were partially responsible, according to investigations, in the last time Muslims were being genocided en masse. And I'm, of course, referring to the Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar. And so, you know, they're obviously very one-sided when it comes to like Muslims being killed en masse, right? So it's just interesting to think about. And I think that is a couple of the reasons why I think they want to manage it. Yeah. By the same argument, Facebook, known for giving FBI, CIA anything they want, should be banned in every country except the U.S. Since it's essentially American spyware by the same characterization. God, American exceptionalism is such a fucking drug. Yeah. Except I do think that Meta and all these other companies are probably beholden to significantly higher standards as far as like control in Europe due to EU regulation. Does that make sense? Anyway, look. All of that shit is still... What? You are so uninformed. Too much pro-Palestinian content on TikTok? Yeah, no, there that is definitely a consideration in my opinion. I think that no. He's saying like this is the perspective of the senators. Guys, calm down. Everyone is so ready to go nutty mode. Okay, when you should be going nutty on that fucking subscription button because at the top of the hour there's a 3-minute ad break. Okay, and if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free. All right, get nutty with it. Subscribe for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account or by getting gifted a sub. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Hey, Cap for Cutie, thank you for the 10 gifted. Winter Rose, 96, thank you for the 5 gifted.
Foreign hostile government that has actively trying to track the information of whereabouts of every American.
Foreign hostile government, brother. Foreign hostile government. I got to pee again.
They get their hands on. Your app ought to be banned in the United States of America for the security of this country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Hirono.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As we've heard, children face all sorts of dangers when they use social media, from mental health harm.
As we continue to listen to this hearing, we just have to say, wow, what we all just saw live on television is going to be a moment for the ages when we just saw Senator Josh Hawley ask Mark Zuckerberg if he had apologized to the families, many of whom are there in the audience, an audience that the chair of this committee, Dick Durbin, said earlier was the biggest that he has seen in his 22 years on the Judiciary Committee. And then Mark Zuckerberg stood up, turned around, and spoke to the families. He was off mic, so we don't know exactly what he said. I know that we're trying to get some audible tape of exactly what he said, but that moment is something that I believe that we are going to be looking back on and talking about for quite some time.
Of what nation are you a citizen?
Singapore.
Woo, my boy's about to get real racist with it. Hold on now, partner. Before we move on back to goddamn Tom Cotton, okay, let me tell you a thing or two. Okay, so we're going to talk about Tom Cotton being insanely racist once again. He's like, Tom Cotton hit the, what kind of Asian are you? Wrong answer, it's Chinese. He literally did that, okay, which is so insane that this person is like in Congress, okay, in Congress. He said, I don't care what kind of Asian you are, you're literally Chinese. Not even are you Chinese or Japanese? He said, nope, you're Chinese. You're Chinese to me, brother. Fuck you. It's more like, what kind of Chinese are you? There's only 4 types of people, okay? Chinese, Mexican, Black, American. And when I say American, I'm talking about white people, okay? That's it. There ain't nothing else. And you don't look Mexican to me. So you must be Chinese. Arabs are Mexican. We categorize Arabs under the banner of Mexican, okay? And sometimes white, which is very scary stuff. Some of them Arabs can hide as white people, okay? Anyway, here, let's look at the difference between TikTok and Douyin before we move on back to him being him being like, I don't care that you're from Singapore. What kind of Chinese are you?
Here are the key differences between our version of TikTok here in the US that we all know and the Chinese version called Douyin that you can only access in China. So if you're a child in China who wants to go on Douyin or TikTok, you can only go on the app for 40 minutes a day maximum. And that's not a setting that you can change, it's forced. And they'll only be shown videos about knowledge or science, math, patriotism. Any piece of content that is made in any other country cannot be shown on Douyin. So with all this different content comes different trending artists and trending songs. And it's really hard for an artist to blow up on TikTok and simultaneously Douyin. But this singer right here, Ari Abdul, may be the first artist to have a #1 song on Douyin and then TikTok. Her song, Baby Doll, that was the first song she ever wrote, has over 2 million plays on Douyin. And it's been the #1 song. The sound is being used for romantic videos, transitions, fan edits. So it'll be very interesting to see just how much Baby Doll can take off on worldwide TikTok after it's a major.
We have a unique circumstance here. Is she Chinese or Mexican? I'm confused. I don't know how to be racist towards her. She's on the Chinese app, but she got a last name Abdul, which, as I said earlier, is Arab, which I said earlier, it means she's Mexican. I don't get it. Abdul, them Chinese are bringing in Hamas over the border with their music like Abdul.
Major success on Douyin.
I'm confused. Dog, I got the window open. Everyone thinks I'm racist now. Yeah, God, this is why, you know, Republicans have so much more fun. Okay, because they're so dumb. They live in like the dumbest timeline, and they are so stupid and so silly, and they have so much fun. They would have more fun if they weren't terrified all the time, I guess. It's just the one thing that stops them from actually having fun is just how scared they are all the time. Her father is Palestinian. We knew it. I told you. Abdul.
I think they then had a lawsuit and it was overturned. I can't remember the details. It's another
company.
company.
The Biden administration that reversed those sanctions, just like, by the way, they reversed the terrorist designation on the Houthis in Yemen. How's that working out for them? But it was sanctioned as a Chinese communist military company. So you said today, as you often say, that you live in Singapore. Of what nation are you a citizen?
Singapore.
Are you a citizen of any other nation?
No, Senator.
Have you ever applied for Chinese citizenship?
Senator, I served my nation in Singapore. No, I did not.
Do you have a Singaporean passport?
Yes, and I served my military for two and a half years in Singapore.
Do you have any other passports from any other nations?
No, Senator.
He's like, what do you mean? You look Chinese to me. What the fuck do you mean? What is Singapore? What the hell kind of Chinese is that? You look Chinese, you sound Chinese, your name Chinese. Is Singapore in China? What part of China is Singapore from? Tell me now. Why are you hiding the truth about Singapore? He's literally like, I don't believe you. You're Chinese. What the fuck? It's so stupid. It's so dumb. What are you doing? You look Chinese to me. You can't fool me. You can't catch a fast one off. Can't let this one slip, boys. We got them.
Your wife is an American citizen. Your children are American citizens.
That's correct.
Have you ever applied for American citizenship?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you, you won't be getting it. Because you're Chinese.
Have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?
Senator, I'm Singaporean. No.
Have you ever been associated or affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party?
Why would he? How? What are you saying? It's a brick wall, dude. Nothing. He's not registering anything. Okay? It's like the old King of the Hill bit with like the Laotian neighbors moving next door, but like so much more racist. Okay? Tom Cotton, on the other hand, is extra racist. Okay? He's extra racist. He even shaved off the Japanese part. He's like, Japanese, they're also Chinese. All right? There are allies, but they're Chinese still. Okay? They're
Party?
No, Senator. Again, okay. I'm Singaporean.
Let me ask you some hopefully simple questions. You said earlier, in response to a question, that what happened at Tiananmen Square in June of 1989 was a massive protest. Did anything else happen in Tiananmen Square?
He's so Reddit. He's like, yeah, I got you. Yeah, guess what? This is how we found out you're Chinese right here. Oh, dude, this is so sick. Yeah, there are island Chinese allies like Taiwan, also Chinese. Well, they're literally okay. That one does make sense. Taiwan and Nippon Desu, both Chinese of island variety, both are friends and allies. Okay, still don't trust them though because they're still Chinese.
Yes, I think it's well documented. There was a massacre.
There was an indiscriminate slaughter of hundreds or thousands of Chinese citizens. Do you agree with the...
Tell me more. How many? How many did you kill at the Tiananmen Square? How many Chinese people did you kill personally? You were on that tank, weren't you? Tell me now. You marched that tank, didn't you? It's well documented. You personally did it.
The Trump administration and the Biden administration that the Chinese government is committing genocide against the Uyghur people?
Senator, I've said this before. I think it's really important that anyone who cares about this topic or any topic can freely express themselves on TikTok.
It's a very simple question that unites both parties in our country and government.
Yeah. Alarm bells in everybody's heads, by the way, should be ringing at this point. Okay. Yeah. He said he did military service for 2 years. Part of the, yeah, military service for what? Singapore mandatory service? More like Singapore part of China. That's right. Tom Cotton talking about Muslims is so funny because it's like, we know his ass don't give a shit.
Around the world, is the Chinese government committing genocide against the Uyghur people?
Senator, anyone, including, you can come into TikTok and talk about this topic.
I'm asking you,
or any topic that matters to you.
You are a worldly, cosmopolitan, well-educated man who's expressed many opinions on many topics. Is the Chinese government committing genocide against?
Oh, finish your alarm bell point. Yeah, I mean, dude, it should ring alarm bells in your head when like someone like Tom Cotton's talking about like genocide, currently ongoing genocide against like a Muslim population, and he's not talking about Palestine. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's just a talking point. That's it. Okay, it's just a talking point.
Well-educated man who's expressed many opinions on many topics. Is the Chinese government committing genocide against the Uyghur people?
Actually, Senator, I talk mainly about my company, and I'm here to talk about what TikTok does.
Yes or no? You're here to give testimony that's truthful and honest and complete.
Is this old? Didn't they already do this? No. Tom Cotton had done this to him before, but he's doing it again.
Let me ask you this. Joe Biden last year said that Xi Jinping was a dictator. Do you agree with Joe Biden? Is Xi Jinping a dictator?
Senator, I'm not going to comment on any world leaders.
What?
He's obviously a communist because he's from Singapore and not Sing-a-rich. True, brother. It's one of my favorite types of racism. It's like, oh, it's time to answer for the crimes of like what I associate China with. You look Chinese enough. Come on, go ahead. You know what I mean? It's just like, guys, pure unadulterated racism. Okay, you are there specifically as the CEO of TikTok. It would be like if you were talking to Mark Zuckerberg about like made up shit that you came up with, like Jewish crimes or something, because, well, you're Jewish. Tell me about Jewish crimes. Did you build the Chabad tunnels in Brooklyn? Tell me now. Okay. It's just so dumb. It's so insanely stupid. It's like, yeah, tell me about them Jewish space lasers, Mark Zuckerberg. That's right.